All right. Yes, it's Paradigm Shifters once again in June 2022. And I love the topic of this month, your sacred body temple. And for those of you who don't know, or those of you who do know, to remind you, Paradigm Shifters, we are a growing global community dedicated to shift and uplift the planet. Let's take a deep breath in on that one. And we so appreciate every single one of you, every single person on the planet, and the gifts that you have to share. So I love the fact that this week we have as a guest presenter on Your Sacred Body Temple, my good buddy Tara Brown from Phoenix, Arizona. Love it, love it, love it. I've known Tara for years now and watched you grow and watched you be this super mother. Mm-hmm. Those beautiful girls. And I'm just going to pass it on over to you and tell us a little bit about yourself and, boy, your book that's coming out and you name it. So there you go. It's all yours.
Thanks, Judy. Yes, it's a privilege and an honor to be with your Paradigm Shifters. And since I was last here with you, there have been some things that have changed. We've had a pandemic, we've had some challenges, and yeah, I wrote a book. The book is actually called Awaken Your Fertility, and it is and it's written to really chronicle a journey and a case study of women that I helped from seeming infertility to have babies. I've always wanted to write a book, Judy, but I kind of figured, who am I, right? What is it going to be about? I even took writing classes. I thought I'd write a romance novel. This is like 15 years ago. And I was meeting some women and these professional women. I was just kind of telling them my story. And they're like, well, what do you do? I was like, I'm an architect, but I also have a business as a life coach. And I was sharing a client testimonial of a woman who had been, 16 years. She'd been told she couldn't get pregnant. Let's put this age 25 to age 40. Her whole adult life, pretty much, told she couldn't get pregnant. Every medical professional. And after working together, she had a boy. And so I told this to one professional woman, and she just like tightened up. And I didn't know her terribly well. And she'd come to tell me that she had many, many rounds of IVF to have her daughter, who was a teenager. And then she said, Tara, you've got to get this workout. And I'm thinking, who am I, right? Playing small, an old bad paradigm of mine that we're changing. And so I just kind of kept that in abeyance. And then I was telling another woman that I know, another professional woman, very successful. And she said, Tara, I've had many, many rounds of IVF and I never did get pregnant. And I could just hear her choke up and the pain at never being able to have a child, doing everything she knew how to do. And she looked at me and she said, Tara, you have to get this workout into the world. And that's what pushed me to write the book. So the book was actually written in service. And we'll talk about the launch. It launches in a little over a week. But the book was written in service to women and mothers specifically, but really anyone who wants to transcend a health challenge. And so that was kind of the why behind it. This week is Father's Day, and I was in a Facebook group that I'm in, and there were these women that were talking about how they feel like their bodies have failed them because after years they've not been able to have babies. One woman was talking about how her mother-in-law said, oh, your husband would be so good as a dad. My other kids have babies, but it's so sad that he can't. I mean, the pain, if you're a woman that's been trying for a long time to get pregnant, the pain is excruciating. There is no greater longing and there's no greater sense of failure than feeling like you can't do something that you see people all around you able to do. And I had my own infertility journey. It's chronicled in the book, but I want to talk about my clients. So Lauren, her journey, again, she was told for 15 years that she couldn't get pregnant. And she was working with me in a VIP program. We were working for a year. We started off doing something else. We didn't even come up to talk about working on this. It was 4 months into working together where I realized she started trusting me enough to tell me what her real heart's desire was. We know, and I know your paradigm shifters know, it's really important to have a vision, right? It's really important to know where you're going. And in her vision, there was no mention of motherhood. It was 4 months before she trusted me enough to say, what I really, really want is to be a mom. but everyone's told me I can't my whole life. And I just looked at her and I said, okay, well, then let's start visioning. And what Judy and I talked about, I would love to share with you the tools that we use to shift this. Again, this book was written around fertility, but fertility by Merriam-Webster's definition is basically creating anything, bringing anything into form. So if there's an idea that you want to gestate, if there's a different health challenge, you, by definition, if you learn to read and write, if you are sitting up and at this computer looking at this video on Facebook, you are fertile. Go look up the definition of Merriam-Webster. I don't have it memorized, but you are fertile by definition. So starting from that place, or you are healthy by definition, if you have a diagnosis. But starting from there, we want to look at the vision. So what I did with this client, with Lauren, is we started creating little mini visions. So what would it be like if she had a baby? What would she hold that baby, right? You can't see my hands off the screen. What would it be like to hold the hand of her toddler? What would it be like to be pregnant? I suggested if she was really committed, she'd go out and buy things like baby products that evoke the smell of baby, right? So she went out and she bought baby products. She started looking at baby furniture and envisioning this. Now you have to remember, this is from a woman who had her whole life been told she couldn't get pregnant. So we started with vision. We started with working with that. And then I wasn't involved in the act of her getting pregnant, but 5 months after we started working on this, and she discovered on Mother's Day, she was pregnant. And that was a huge shift. But then she got scared, Judy. Oh my God, am I going to stay pregnant? And so the next level of work, so once you can get pregnant, the next level of work is, how do you stay pregnant? And so we worked on a vision for an easy pregnancy, and one where she had a healthy, happy baby. And as it turned out, her pregnancy ended up being easy. She had this healthy, happy baby that, as the child grows, 3.5 years old now, and was an absolute easy child, happy baby, and just the dream that she had hoped for. Had she learned some of these things earlier, she may have been able to have 2 kids. But there were 5 things that we worked on. I mean, we worked on a lot of things, but first was vision, right? Getting clear. And I know you're paradigm shifters. I know that you've talked about this before, working on vision. The second was she had to decide. She had to make a decision. She had to get really clear that this is what she wanted, and she was willing to put her life force behind it. What I know about women who want to get pregnant is, oh, they're in. But the next thing we had to work on was fear and doubt, right? Because there's all this evidence. There's the doctors telling you, there's a medical test, maybe there's a diagnosis. In my case, I had a uterine fibroid, literally this big, the size of a small grapefruit. I was told I had a 25% chance at best of getting pregnant. And I have twin 15-year-old girls. So I had my own journey. I was told that we hoped that I could stay pregnant to 28 weeks, Judy, because it was so big, it was like carrying triplets. And I went on bed rest at 24 weeks. And I meditated, and I literally had a vision of giving my uterus away to God every day. I ended up delivering on schedule at 37 weeks and 2 days. And so every day I gave it away. Every day I did my part. That's what my client Lauren did. Every day she did her part. She did her visioning. When she got afraid, she shifted towards her vision. And of course, if you've been struggling, if you've had miscarriages, if you've never been pregnant, you're going to get scared. That's part of the journey, but how you handle that is everything. When I look at like stories of women, it's really interesting. Being Father's Day, one of the things that I noticed in the post is that they don't want to celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day because it's so painful for them. They don't want to be around babies. They don't want to be around families with young children. They don't want to be around pregnant moms. And every time they hear of somebody else's success, so many of them shrink back and feel the pain. But we live in a universe that's so literal. It wants to give you everything. One of the stories I use, it's very silly, but I use it with all my clients to try to illustrate this point, is imagine that everyone has their little Tinkerbell, their little fairy, and the fairy wants to make you happy. That's their only job. Her job or his job is just to make you happy, but they don't speak English. So all they speak is your attention and where you put your energy. And so the more you energize on something, they go, oh, that's going to make that's going to make her happy. I'm going to give her more of that. And so they give you more. And so these women that are struggling, their energy is on, I don't want to be on family. I don't want to be around babies. I don't want to be around any of that. And so what happens? They don't get pregnant. And so the work is to shift that, is to move that energy from being around what I don't want and being fed by the universe. Well, what do I want? I do want to hold this baby. I do want to smell the baby. I do want to hold my toddler's hand. Maybe my kid's 4 years old, and on my arm, on my other arm, I have the baby bassinet with my newborn, and I'm taking my preschooler into school. We want to give our whole mind new images around that. That's what's so important. And that's what we did. And then we walked through the fear and we kept visioning. She made a decision. She walked through the fear. She used her imagination and she took today's step, whatever today's step is. If you have a diagnosis, whether it's infertility or whether it's something else, I'm not a doctor. I'll get the best doctor you can and follow their advice. But use your mind to vision the outcome that you want, to see that you are getting the result that you want. You are getting the health result. Put it on. What would it feel like? What would it feel like to hold your baby? The moment Lauren really allowed herself to imagine holding that child, she started to cry on the phone. She just started bawling, and those heavy, heavy tears. She would later tell me that was the moment she actually believed it was possible for her. And that was when everything shifted. And so it's our heart opening to the idea, our heart opening to the health, our heart opening to the vision that allows then those little fairies, oh, that's what's going to make her happy, that then they can give it to us. Because at the end of the day, I firmly believe that we live in a universe that wants us to be happy and is actively working towards our good. So that's kind of the story. The book is called Awakening Your Fertility. There's more in there, but the fundamental point is that you actually can shift in cooperation with your medical professionals. You can shift your results. Your part is to use your mind and to really focus on what you want to have happen and shift your attention away. And I know when you're in pain, I've been recovering from injury and mountain biking. When you're in pain, it is hard to focus away. That is the hardest work I'd ever invite you to do, but focus your mind away from what you don't want. Give those little fairies new information so they can give you what you do want. I want the baby. I want the health. I want the healed hamstring. I want the healthy blood work. I want to sleep well again. I want the love of my life. I want business success. Whatever it is, redirect, redirect, redirect. That's the biggest service I can give you, is just keep focusing on what you do want so that you can get the life that you love.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Wow, when you were talking, it brought to mind one of my clients, I've known about many years ago now, about 5 years ago, that was the same thing, wanting that baby, the babies. And they were, I think she was in her mid 40s, and all this, and we would work, and she got pregnant, then she would lose it, and then she gave up. She surrendered, quit, and I didn't see her for a year. But you know what? I held the vision. I could see it, like this grandma thing in my. I could see these babies, and it was working there. And I love what you said, and I want you to go back to this.
Sure.
One of the things I did, I went to the store, and I got her two little sippy cups, a pink one and a blue one. I sent those to her, and newborn diapers, and I just said, here, carry the diapers around, put the cups, and also get the baby chair, the high chair thing, and just put it at your table. And she actually was doing all this, and I just loved it. And then there was a big discouragement, and I didn't see her for a year. But whenever I would think of her, I would wonder about her. You wonder. And then I was at a meeting. I saw her, and she was huge. She was pregnant with twins. And those twins came out. They are the cutest things now. But she goes, "You're not going to believe this, Judy." And I'm like, "Tell me more." And she says, "I have finally given up. I totally surrendered all the work I did." It was that sweet surrender.
Mhm.
We heard that too. Okay, I've done all I could to push me. I just surrendered in a bunch of tears and everything. And it was at that sweet surrender. So I love it. Tell me more about the. You said your client. I'm just curious about this.
Yeah.
About the. One thing we can see it, and then when we have a mentor or people that we actually could see it as well. Tell me about the physical things you sent her to actually touch.
Sure. So I had suggested that I know for me, when I was a new mom, I realized the smell of this particular brand, A&D diaper ointment, smelled like baby to me. And smell is an incredible trigger for memory. So when we're trying to like imagine having a baby and we've never had one, make it easy for yourself to trigger all of the senses to allow you to have the baby. So I was suggesting she get a doll and hold the doll and just hold the doll like she would hold a baby, but also by whether it's, Johnson and Johnson baby powder or baby lotion or shampoo or A&D ointment or whatever smell it is, go to the baby lot section at your nearest big box store and just start smelling things. Whatever smell it is, it goes, that's baby smell to you. Buy that one. We're talking an under $10 investment. People will spend $20,000 for IVF, spend $10 on a baby supply, and allow yourself to really embody the feeling of having that baby. And it repatterns your mind, which allows your mind to repattern your body. It's giving it a new message. And the more you love on that imaginary baby, the more real it becomes, because our subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. I often use this example. So if everyone who's watching this would imagine that Judy and I were handing out plates. We've got a little saucer, and on top of the saucer is a lemon, and then there's a knife, right? And so I want you to take the saucer, put it down in front of you, put the lemon, hold the lemon, and cut the lemon in half, like if you were really cutting a lemon. Take it in half, smell, and then take a bite of your lemon. I'm salivating. You're right? There's no lemon, but our body is acting as if there's a lemon. If you played along, I bet you were salivating. That's what we're trying. That's the power we're harnessing. Smell, hold the doll, smell the baby powder, smell the diaper ointment. Um, do the best to fill your imagination, your body with a new experience, and watch your body respond. It's law. It has to. There's no choice.
I love this. I love this. I love it. And when you're talking, I remember too, as a mentor, because you
Yeah,
and I are mentors, and
right.
we get to, see and go and see beyond. And I remember getting a couple packets of those newborn baby diapers. Oh my gosh. I don't know if you remember Adelina, right? I gave her newborn baby diapers when she was telling me about her desire to have a baby. It was like carrying diapers around with me, because there's something about being a mentor and then having these people drawn to you and you go, where are they coming from out in the blue, right?
Right.
So, yeah, tell me more about here's what I would really love to do too, though. So, Awaken Your Fertility that's the first book in a series of books. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the plan. So it's the Awaken Your Power series. And the idea is that there's a power in you that exists, but it might be latent. It might be just taking a little nap. Let's wake it up. It's there. So the next book is going to be on Awaken Your Power. So more general, really applying to anybody and everybody about how we can use very simple mindset tools to access power that's within us that can bring forth the life that we would really love to be living. And Judy's smiling because she knows this. There's signs and signals that there's more growth. If you're alive and you're breathing, their universe has a plan for you, and it's and it doesn't always look the way you think it will. it's going to look like the thing that you're really frustrated by, that you really want to change. And maybe the thing that's been stuck for a really long time and you're frustrated and maybe you want to give up on it. What if that is actually your genius? We have a mutual friend, another coach, his name is Matt Boggs, and he tells a story about when he wrote his first book and how it was about two bachelors wanting to help people find love. And most people said to him, gosh, who wants to read a book by two bachelors trying to find the world's greatest, the world's greatest marriage is how the story of love lasts, right? At the end of the day, because they were two bachelors, it was actually because of the limitation that they got signed on to a publisher and they moved forward. What if what looks like it's a limitation for you, what it looks like your greatest weakness is actually your greatest strength? And it's just asleep and it's in disguise. So that's what you want to wake up. What exists in you already right now. You don't have to be any different. Just might be sleeping. Let's wake it up. Let's get you your fertility back. Let's get you your power back. Let's help you, amplify your success, whether the success to you means greater financial freedom, whether it means greater time freedom. Some of us are working way too many hours and we're stressed out. It's health. We're talking about body this month. Oh, awaken a love for the body temple that you're in. And if if you want to change some of it and transform it, awaken that part too, and let that become easy. Set your intention and move forward. So so it's the first in a series. It launches a week from Tuesday on the 28th of June. And I will be doing a Facebook Live. And on that day, guess what? It'll be free as a Kindle. It's my gift. I really just want people to wake up and to be successful. And so I wrote this book again, like I said at the top, because I was asked to. I was called in. When I was, maybe like 13 or 14 years old, I made a deal with God. And the deal was, if I hear the same thing twice, I'm going to assume that it's a message from you, God. And so when the second woman said to me, you've got to get this out, I realized, okay, that's God calling. I have to answer the call. And so this book is simply an answering of the call. I have no ego in this. And so pick it up, take it for free, give it to the women that you would love to have, or their men, and let people have the babies that they want to have. I just want to see them shifting from the pain to the joy of living a life they love, and having that, bringing that light into life. That's really what this is all about. It's just help. Let's make a difference.
Oh, thank you so much. And what a beautiful, beautiful time to bring a child into this, to this existence, so much love and caring. Wow. I'm speaking
Yeah.
from my grandma-ness right now. So thank you so much, Tara. And
Honor.
at the end, we always want to, to put what is it that you would love for your, you just said everything about the book, but what is there anything else you would love? And we're going to put some energy over to Phoenix right now from our community. Tell us one more thing. What would you love?
So I have a vision for holding a 3-day event to help professional women, and whether through the journey of, whether it's motherhood or just work, because it's not just, let me tell you, once you have the baby or babies, your life changes. So to help them move through that passage of time from not being a parent into parenthood, and host a 3-day event really around awakening your power. It's still being in formation, but what you could hold for me is that there's a 3-day event that has such an impact. What I would love would be that within 30 days, anyone who wanted to get pregnant, there was so much power in that event that within 30 days, that next cycle, boom, it's taken care of. That's what I would love. There's that much power for them.
I love it. I love it. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. We totally see it as so. Wow. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Tara.
Thank you,
This
Judy.
is so cool. Thank
What a
you.
treat.
What a treat you are. Thank you.